We are going to discuss the construction of graphical user interfaces using JavaFX. There is a video associated with assignment 2 that tells you how to install JavaFX and connect Eclipse to JavaFX and how to modify the projects and how to execute those projects. So I'm not going to go over those. I'm just going to go over the overall concepts of JavaFX in this video. In JavaFX, we have a stage that is the outer frame of the graphical user interface. The stage can have at any given point a scene, and that scene can change over time. And within the scene, we put the widgets like buttons. So let's take an example. There are a few examples in a project that is available on D2L. So this is the first of those several projects. In all these projects, we have a class that extends application, which is a JavaFX class. And we need to override the start method in all of these graphical user interface programs. And in the main method, we launch the application.launch, and then you can pass some arguments. It can be null. So this is a very simple project that does almost very little except show the very basics of JavaFX code. So we have a stage passed to the start method, and that is called the primary stage. So we give the name primary stage to the parameter as well. And we can put in some stuff into a scene and then set this scene. So you can see the scene object here. And this scene object is set into the stage, and the stage is shown. So let's see the code. The start method is here. We create a button object, which is again a JavaFX class. We create a scene in which the button is placed, and the size of the scene is 200 by 200. The title of the window is project 1. We set the scene of the primary stage to the scene that we just constructed and display the stage. And that is the end of the program. If you run this, we should just get a window in which there is a button that says okay, nothing more. The title of the project would be, at the very title bar, you should see project 1. Now, it is rare that we just put one widget into the whole scene. So we might have many different widgets. So if that is the case, we can have other classes, other objects into which we can put all these widgets. For example, we can have what is called a grid pane in which we can put different types of widgets. For example, here we have what is called a text field, which is created a text field equals new text field. We will take a look at the Java project in a few minutes. So we add to the pane a text field at column 0, row 0. Then at column 0, row 1, we put a button. And then we put this pane into the scene. And we show the stage as before. We can also handle the clicks on the buttons. So if you have two buttons, OK button and decrement button, we can say that when the button, OK button is clicked, this object where this code is the one to handle it. So OK button dot set on action this, decrement button dot set on action this. And we need to then code the method called handle, which will do the actual job of processing button clicks. So the handle method gets an action event that says, among other things, which button was clicked. So we can ask this event, what was the source of the event? the source is, if the source is OK button, we can do one thing. We can, for example, set the field to some value. Otherwise, if the source of the event is the decrement button, we can do something else. We can similarly have code to handle mouse events. So when the mouse is clicked, for example, we can do things. So let's take a look at the Java code in the project. So you can see that there are a number of classes, fairly short classes available in this JavaFX projects, available on D2L. Download it, import it into your Eclipse program, and look at each one of these. We already saw the code for project one in one of the slides, so we are not going to spend more time on it. Then project two, again, we saw the code. It doesn't do anything other than show the window. Project three also, we saw much of the code, except we didn't see the fields for OK button and decrement button, and there is a text field. So we are putting three things into three different rows at column 0. And a canvas is something on which you can actually draw stuff. So we are creating also a canvas and putting it into the pane. So the pane has all these fields. So the field will be at the top, then below that the OK button, then the decrement button, and finally the canvas below that. Again, the OK button and decrement buttons are, when they are clicked, their actions are caught here. And what we do is we put some value in the field, and we create a line at from one place to the other. So I mean, these are fairly arbitrary actions. They show simply how to take care of actions on buttons. Project 4 was covered in the assignment video, so check that. Then project 5 and project 6 draw some stuff. So here we again have a canvas on which we draw stuff. What are we drawing? We draw rectangles, circles in different colors, green and red. So we have 4 buttons here to represent the 2 different shapes and 2 different colors. And we create the buttons and the canvas in the along with the field declarations, and we put those buttons and canvas onto the pane right here. So we add the canvas at the top, and then the buttons below that, a rectangle button, a circle button in the first row, then green button and red button in the second row. So these are the third parameter is the row number, the second parameter is the column number. And we then catch actions on those clicks on those buttons. And if we get a click on the circle, if the shape is circle, we draw a oval, which is the way to draw a circle. If you put both of these values the same, we get a circle, right? So we draw a circle at this coordinate that is given by the event. Event dot gets scene X. That is the X coordinate, and this is the Y coordinate for the click occurred. And if there is a rectangle, we draw a rectangle with a fixed size, length of 80, height of 40. If the buttons are clicked, if we get the red button clicked, we remember that the color is red. If the green button is clicked, we remember that the color is green. If the rectangle button is clicked, we remember that it's the rectangle, and so on. By the way, this is the mouse event, not the button event. I might have misspoken at that point. So if the mouse is clicked at a certain point, we know where it is clicked, right? So we get the X and Y coordinate of the mouse clicks. Project 6 is very similar. So there is not much more there. Okay, so if when the mouse is clicked, and if the shape is circle, we draw a circle, and there is a circle class. You can, from JavaFX, we use that instead of drawing an oval. So we create these circle objects, rectangle objects, and put them on the screen. So take a look at all this. At some point in this semester, we will use some of these concepts in the class projects. Actually, it is the third project where we create a drawing program. And there is one more class here which can be which is actually created by one of these other programs, just to show that you can actually show a second stage, nothing else. Actually, this doesn't really serve any other purpose. Oh, there is one other thing. If you want to use a VBox where we can put stuff one below the other, you can use this class. There is a similar thing called HBox, in which we can put stuff from left to right. So you can use a combination of VBoxes and HBoxes in your programs if you wish, or you can use a grid pane. Whatever you choose to use, that is fine.